Hi, my name is Atticus Patton, and I'd like to talk to you a little bit about podcasting. I've done a podcast recently about movies. I was sitting around one day and I decided I like movies. I really like talking to my wife, and so we decided to just record our conversation and put it out there and see who'd listen. There's lots of different reasons to do podcasting. One of my favorites was we were sitting around after we'd started the podcast and we just finished watching Hudson Hawk. A friend of ours was there with us, and we thought, it's a great movie. It's a good time to just put it down. We did an emergency podcast. It was a lot of fun. So you should try podcasting. There's a lot of different reasons to get started. It's a lot easier than you think, and it's just a lot of fun. If I can do it, anybody can do it. It's a great way to keep in touch. It's a great way to share your story. It keeps you connected with the people that you love and the people that you just want to talk to, and the people who want to hear your story. It's a lot easier to get into than you think. Most of the stuff that you're going to need to get started are right there in your house, and you don't even need all this jumble of wires and connections and all that stuff. You just jump right in, and I'll show you how to get started. Audience size is something that a lot of people worry about, but really it doesn't matter how big your audience is. It's free to get started. A lot of sites will host your podcast for free, so really all that it's costing you is time. And it doesn't matter how big your audience is. These are a few things that I can think of that are a reason to get started. Number one, it's fun. Number two, it's easy. And number three, there's a lot of people out there that want to hear what you have to say, and they want to hear stories. The world's gotten a lot smaller, so getting in contact with those people that you want to talk to gets a little bit difficult from time to time. So this is a great way to schedule a talk with them. So you bring in your friends, you bring in your family. Now you're creating a community of people that want to be heard and people that want to hear from. So know your community. Go out there and listen to some other podcasts, especially ones that are within the genre that you want to work on. When I was doing my research for podcasts, I went out and looked at other podcasters that talked about movies. So like I said, what you're going to need is pretty readily available in your house. So you're not going to have to spend a lot of money. You're not going to have to go out and search for that perfect microphone, because it's probably right there in your computer already. So a few of the things: a microphone, internet connection, and audio software. I already talked about the microphones. A lot of times it's easy just to get started with the one that's in your computer. The internet connection is so that you can get your podcast up on the internet, but most of us probably already have that. And audio software is built into most computers. So a few tips from podcasters. Like I said, you want to go out there and listen to your community. My inspiration for a long time was Kevin Smith. Pat Flynn has a really great podcast blog about step-by-steps on how to get started. So somewhere out there wants to hear your story. If you're not happy with 2 or 3 people listening to your podcast, Jay Walsh has a pretty good step-by-step on how to add to your audience size using Twitter, hold a contest, make friends with other podcasters. This is a pretty good information right here. Information on podcasts is pretty unrestricted. So getting out there, just be aware of what you're saying, because you don't want to offend an audience, but it's nice to have that freedom. Small audience versus no audience. Even if you have only 2 people listening and one of them is your mom, at least somebody's listening, and those people would love to keep hearing your stories. So don't let a small audience dissuade you from getting started. So now it's just time to sit down, write out what you want to talk about, especially a forum of what you want your podcast to look like, and then get down in front of the computer and record. You can do video or audio. Both are pretty popular. Like we've talked about, it's fun to just have that time to sit down and talk with your friends. It's easy because all the things that you need are probably already built into your computer. And it's a great way to keep those connections with friends and family as they move around the world. You should try this. There's a lot of people out there that are already doing it. It's a great way to express yourself. It's a lot of fun to keep in touch with those family members. So there's nothing to stop you from doing this and having a good time. Now is the time to do it. You have all the information that you need right at your fingertips, right there on the internet. Most importantly, remember to have fun. This is for you and your audience, but it's a great way to get your story out there.